Hi and Assalamualaikum everyone. This is the video about network in graph theory and geogebra. Introduction of network. Graph. A graph represents data consisting of discrete objects and show relationship between objects in a simple graphical manner. Graph theory. Graph is interpreted as series of dots which link or not to one another by lines. What is vertex? Vertex is a dot which is a join of two lines at a certain point. What is edges? Line joining two vertices is known as edge. Network. A part of graph with vertices and edges by having their own characteristic. Let's look at the example of graph. Graph 1. You can see in the graph 1, the vertex consists the clients and counselor, while the edge consists the relationship between them or connection. Graph 2. You can see the vertex is the place that they visited, while the edge is the road that they are taking. Let's look at the graph 3. You can see the vertex consists the country or cities, while the edge is the route that the airplane is taking. How to write in form of graph theory? Look at example square ABCD. G equal to VE, V as a vertex and E as the edges of the graph. Example: V equal to vertex A, vertex B, vertex C and D. E equal to AB, AC, CD, CA, BA, BD, DB and DC. Degree D represent the number of edges that connect two vertices. To represent the degree of the graph, we have to write degree A equal to 3, which it has 3 edges connect to it. Degree B equal to 2. Degree C equal to 2 and degree D equal to 3. Note, sum of the degree twice of the edges. Degree equal to 10, edges 2 times 5 equal to 10 degree.
Next, we were going to learn what is simple graph. Simple graph has no loops and no multiple graph. Degree of graph is twice the number of the edges. The picture below shows the example of simple graph. What is the meaning of multiple edges and loops? Multiple edges involve two vertices. Vertices not connected more than one edges. Some degree twice number of the edges. Loops involve one vertex. The edges is in form of star and end at same vertex. Each loops adds 2 to the degree of graph. What is directed graph and undirected graph? Directed graph is graph that connect the edges into two vertices. Undirected graph is graph with loops and multiple edges drawn without any direction being assigned. For example, map, airline network, electrical circuit, computer network, and organization chart. Simple graph have undirected and directed graph. The picture below shows the example of it, while graph with loops and multiple edges also have directed and undirected graph. The picture below also shows the example of graph. As we can see from the example below, the simple graph have the triangle shape of graph, while graph with loops and multiple edges have the complex shape of graph. The difference of undirected and directed graph is the arrow that draw on the edges. So next, we are going to learn weight and unweighted graph. So what is weight and unweighted graph? So, weight graph is represent the value of the edges or weight. Example of weight graph is distance between 2 points, traveling time, the current in electrical circuit, cost of traveling, while unweighted graph is not associated with value and weight, like job hierarchy, organization, flow map, tree map, and bubble map.
Subgraph. What is subgraph? A subgraph is part of a graph or the whole graph redrawn without changing the original positions of the vertices and edges. A graph H is said to be a subgraph of G if the vertex set of graph H is a subset of the vertex set of graph G. The edge set of graph H is a subset of the edge set of graph G. The vertex pairs of the edges of graph H are the same as the edges of the graph G. Let's look to the example. We have three graphs. Number one is graph G, diagram 1 and diagram 2. Okay, determine whether diagram 1 and diagram 2 subgraph of graph G. Okay, the answer is diagram 1 is yes. Diagram 1 is subgraph to graph G because the vertex pair for edge E5 is the same. E5 is subset to the E1, E2, E3, E4, and E5, and PS, the line PS, subset to the line PQRS. Diagram 2 is no, because the position of the loop E2 is not on vertex Q. So, next is tree. What is tree? A tree of a graph is a subgraph of the graph with the following properties. Number 1. A simple graph without loops and multiple edges. Number 2. All the vertices are connected and each pair of the vertices is connected by only one edge. Number 3. Number of edges is equal number of vertices minus 1. Let's number of vertices equal to n, so number of edges is n minus 1. Let's look to the example. They have two diagrams, diagram 1 and diagram 2. Determine whether diagram 1 and diagram 2 is 3. Let's look to diagram 1. Diagram 1 is 3 because number 1, all the vertices are connected. Number 2, every pair of vertices is connected by an edge only. Number 3, there are no loops or multiple edges. Number 4, they have 5 vertices and 4 edges. Next, look at diagram 2. Diagram 2 is not a tree because they have vertex B and vertex E can be connected in two ways. Number 2 is they have 5 vertices and 5 edges. Let's look to the questions. The question is determine whether each of the following graph PQRSTU is a tree. Justify your answer. We look at A. Questions A. Questions A is not a tree because it have 6 vertices, 7 edges. Each pair of vertices can be connected in various ways. Questions B. Questions B is a tree because it have 6 vertices, 5 edges, and each pair of the vertices is connected by one edge.
Okay, Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera. Pada hari ini saya akan menerangkan cara-cara penggunaan aplikasi GeoGebra di dalam matematik. Okey, pertama sekali saya nak memperkenalkan GeoGebra ni. Kalau kita nak guna, kita just search je GeoGebra dekat Google dan boleh terus menggunakan aplikasi tersebut. Okey, ini adalah contoh soalan yang kita akan buat. Okey, V ni mewakili vertex itu bermaksud bucu. So dekat sini kita ada 6 bucu. E ni adalah line segmen yang menghubungkan antara bucu dan bucu yang akan membentuk satu line. So kita akan aplikasikan soalan line tersebut dengan menggunakan GeoGebra. Okey, mula-mula kita akan buat dia punya titik vertex tu. So kita ada 6 bucu 6 titik, 1 A, B, C, D, E, F. Dan kemudian kita akan buat dia punya line segmen yang menghubungkan titik-titik tersebut. Okey, kita ambil kat sini. Okay, tadi dia kata A ke F, A ke F, B ke F, C F, CF, C ke D, C ke D, C ke E, C ke E, D ke E dan E ke F. Okey, dan kita punya macam inilah cara-cara untuk menggunakan.
Pertama, kita tengok soalan A. Bilangan bucu adalah 7. Kemudian kita tekan butang point dan tekan mengikut bilangan seperti soalan tadi, 7 point. Kemudian okey, kita tengok markah bilangan tepi adalah 6. Kita tekan butang segmen dan hubungkan kepada antara bucu ke bucu. Seterusnya soalan B, kita tengok bilangan tepi adalah 5, maka bilangan bucu mesti lebih daripada 1, iaitu 6. Okey, kita ambil, kita tekan point sebanyak 6. Kemudian kita ulang balik langkah tadi. Kemudian kita tekan butang segmen untuk hubungkan setiap bucu.
Okay, in GeoGebra, there is GeoGebra notes. So I will use GeoGebra notes to type the question regarding the subgraph. Okay, the question is draw 5 subgraphs for each given graph. The example is graph A. We have vertices P, Q, and R, edges 1, edges 2, and edges 3. So we will draw 5 subgraphs for this graph. Next, to find the solution, I will use GeoGebra geometry. Okay, what is the 5 subgraph for the graph A? The first one is the vertices of P and Q with edges 1. The second one is the vertices P and R with edges 3. The third one is the vertices of Q and R with edges 2. The fourth one is the vertices itself, vertices P, Q and R. The fifth one is the graph itself, the original graph, with the vertices of P, Q and R with edges 1, edges 2 and edges 3.
Thank you for watching our video. Don't forget to give a comment and suggestion to improve our video. Till we meet again next time, take care. Assalamualaikum.